Coming up on our UMTV Special Focus.
It's a disease that affects hundreds of thousands of people. We'll tell you how one University of Miami researcher at the Miller School of Medicine is working to change the lives of those living with Parkinson's.
Plus, with a growing focus on the mental health of students, some professors are making one popular relaxation technique mandatory. We'll show you one way the university is putting mental health first.
And how University of Miami researchers are changing the game when it comes to treating and researching concussions.
That and much more ahead on our UMTV special show focused on health. It starts right now.
The University of Miami School of Communication presents UMTV's Special Focus, Health.
Good evening and welcome to our UMTV special focus on health. I'm Isaiah Kim Martinez.
And I'm Brianna Nussbaugh. Thank you for joining us.
Now, before we dive deeper into topics like mental health and sports medicine, let's take a look at some health headlines from across the country.
A Nevada man says the flu shot left him partially paralyzed and damaged his speech and vision. Less than 2 days after getting the shot, Shane Morgan developed what's known as Guillain-Barré syndrome, also called GBS. It causes a person's immune system to attack their nerve cells.
He'd take the flu 10 to 1, you know what I mean?
I take the flu 3 times a season. I'd take it 3 times a season. That's to do this once in a lifetime.
The CDC says the condition is extremely rare. Only about 1 in a million people who get the flu shot develop it. And the risk of getting GBS is actually higher if you catch the flu. But cases like this do happen. As for Morgan, his doctors say he may recover from some of the symptoms, but some of his nerve damage is likely permanent.
And the next time you go to the grocery store, you could see romaine lettuce back on shelves. The FDA says it has narrowed down the cause of an E. coli outbreak, which caused hundreds of people around the country to get sick. Officials say that tainted lettuce came from California's Central Coast region. The FDA is now adding location labeling to romaine lettuce from other areas, which they say is safe to eat.
Researchers say a capsule filled with peanut powder could cut the risk of allergic reactions for people with peanut allergies. A clinical trial of more than 500 people across 10 countries found that 2/3 of people who took that capsule were able to eat a small amount of peanuts without developing a reaction. But while it does lessen the risk of a reaction, experts say it is not a cure.
Moving on, Parkinson's disease affects more than 200,000 people in the U.S. every year. And even though there are advanced methods to diagnose the illness, the equipment to do that costs hundreds of thousands of dollars. So this has inspired a new research project at the University of Miami, and they may have struck gold. I had a chance to get a first-hand look at the project recently. 2 years ago, Coral Gables resident Alan Lester was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a disorder of the central nervous system that often causes tremors, stiffness in the body, and makes it difficult to balance and move. But programs at the University of Miami Department of Kinesiology and Sports Sciences have helped a great deal.
Before it, I could not drink soup with a spoon. I had to pick the bowl up, and even that was difficult.
Through UM's power and resistance training programs, combined with yoga, Alan has made major improvements.
We can offer physical interventions that are designed to improve the symptoms of the disease.
But one of the department's latest studies is using video game technology to assist in the diagnoses of Parkinson's and make it more cost-effective for everyone. The Xbox Kinect is a $100 piece of what they call depth sensing technology.
What I've been working on for years is to deliver validated or valid tools that can be used in the clinic or at home.
Doctors at the Max Orovitz laboratory have found a way for physicians to easily quantify data when it comes to walking and balance patterns.
So rather than saying, well, I think I see this particular limitation or that particular limitation, we can start to put numbers on these things that give a more exacting analysis of gait or whatever else we're measuring.
Using the Xbox Kinect in conjunction with the training programs offered at the team can evaluate whether each patient has improved in their ability to both walk and retain balance.
So this is huge because this can make us all learn more about the disease and how it's evolved over time.
There is already an Xbox Connect in the UHealth clinic in Kendall, and UM doctors hope it can one day be used in homes across the country, especially in rural areas that are far away from medical help.
And the results have been very good. And I recommend to anybody.
Now, Alan still struggles with Parkinson's every day, and he knows the disease is not curable. But with all the help he is getting, his quality of life has improved greatly. Alan likes to cut bonsai trees and go on walks with his wife in his free time, and is even returning to work for the first time in nearly 2 years.
Physical fitness and mental health are a central part of military life. Certain medics are deployed to not only help the medical needs of civilians, but the needs of soldiers as well. Earlier today, I got the chance to talk to one student who is also a combat medic. Here's what he said. Being in the military can really take a toll on both your physical and mental health. How do you help soldiers when dealing with both?
We're really provided with a very diverse tool set that we can use to take care of soldiers, not only physically, of course, for injuries, but mentally as a result of injuries, or just in general when people have traumatic injuries or even non-traumatic injuries. Just knee problem for a soldier could be the end of their career for that soldier. So that takes a very big mental toll, especially if that soldier is trying to support a family back home and use this career path as a means to make a better life for themselves.
I know you are a student, so are you doing anything now that is helping you and preparing you for deployment?
So I'm currently working at the UM hospital. I work in the physical therapy department. That really gives me a lot of insight into how to properly maintain a person with an injury for a longer period of time. All of these skills honestly make me a better healthcare provider. Having knowledge of different specialties and different scopes of practice just expands how much I can offer a soldier when they're injured. I can not only guide them mentally in their mental health, but within their physical health domain for their healthcare needs, I'm able to provide them with the right resources or knowledge for them to get the best care.
You recently went to Panama City to help with hurricane relief efforts. What was that experience like working with the civilians and the soldiers as well?
My main job as the medic is, of course, to take care of any medical needs that arise. So I not only have a role in prevention, so monitoring the soldiers before and after missions to make sure they are physically and mentally ready to go perform their task at hand, but also I am the primary emergency asset. I'm really there with my supplies to tend to their wounds and to treat them.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and thank you, Malik, for joining us, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Isaiah?
He's got a busy schedule, much respect for him. Now, former UM President Donna Shalala is headed to Congress. She previously served as the Secretary of Health and Human Services in the Clinton administration, and she says that health care is one of her top priorities when she takes office in January.
We need to protect the pre-existing conditions so that every insurance policy covers pre-existing conditions, because if you don't cover that, you don't have health care.
The Congresswoman-elect also talked about the importance of Medicare and her concerns if funding is cut. You can watch the full interview with Dr. Shalala on the UMTV website.
It's that time of the year, final exams, and it certainly seems like everyone on campus has developed those end-of-semester sniffles.
No doubt, and the weather certainly has a big impact on how we feel and whether or not we get sick.
UMTV's meteorologist Tommy Fletcher joins us now with a look at our healthcast. So Tommy, how are things looking?
Things are looking pretty good across the country. Actually, something that'll have a big impact on how people feel is the flu. So if we take a look at the maps, you can see areas of yellow or orange means just a few local cases of the flu. That's not the case in these states shaded in blue. That means a few more cases, but likely around the country, your chance of getting the flu is very low. You'll see that increase, though, as we get further into winter and the temperatures, across the country get a little bit cooler. Taking a look here, though, at the temperature in Florida, 81 degrees right now if you're studying out in the courtyard for finals. Really nice relative humidity of around 77% and a nice breeze out of the west-southwest at 6 miles per hour. You'll see clear skies around South Florida right now if you're heading outside to study for finals, so it's pretty nice to get some fresh air outside. We will, though, have a cold front move through the state tonight, which will bring a little cooler temperatures, so make sure you wear a jacket. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Tommy. Now, I'm just recovering from a cold, so I'm hoping not to catch it again with this cold weather.
I'm the opposite of you. It's too hot here right now. It's winter, cold front, bring it on. And still ahead on our UMTV special focus. We'll take a turn to mental health and see why some UM professors have their students saying in class. Details in just a couple of minutes.
And the university is also putting a focus on mental health outside the classroom and into the palm of your hand. We'll explain straight ahead. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. You're watching UMTV's special focus on health. And turning now to mental health, according to the Yoga Journal, more than 35 million Americans participated in yoga in 2016.
And on top of that, the National Institute of Health says nearly 1 in 10 adults meditate on a regular basis. And now, as our reporter Portia Bowdish found out, these popular practices are making their way into classrooms on campus. And Portia joins us now live in studio. Portia, are students practicing yoga in class?
Yes, they are, Isaiah. I talked to some professors who incorporate either meditation or yoga into their classes on a daily basis, and it seems to work. Check it out. It's no secret that yoga and meditation have been growing in popularity in the United States. Some UM professors have even incorporated the mindful practices into their lesson plans.
Hands to the ground, hop, walk, or jump back.
Burton Tedesco is a professor in the Theater Arts Department who starts off each class session with up to a 30-minute yoga warm-up.
I had been lifting weights, and when I got to graduate school, my movement teacher was like, you're not functional. And he was really into yoga, and he started every class with a yoga warm-up. And the more that I did it, I actually lost weight, I gained muscle, and I gained strength.
Senior Christina Hudak is in Tedesco's class and says although it was scary at first, she ended up liking the yoga portion of the class.
I found myself throughout the semester getting better at it, and just the progression from the beginning of the class when you first start the yoga, from the end of the 30 minutes of doing it, I felt much better about myself.
Over in the School of Education and Human Development, Professor Claire Zofko begins her lectures with 60 seconds of meditation, what she calls their mindful minute.
Close your eyes if it's comfortable, or just have a soft gaze now.
About 3 years ago, I learned and developed a daily meditation practice, and it has been the foundation that has completely shifted the entire way I experience life.
Notice your legs beneath you, the chair beneath you, and how it feels today.
It helps me really be in the classroom mindset, so everything else just disappears from my mind.
Zofko has also gotten her colleagues to do the mindful minute in their staff meetings.
I can't help but share it because of how much I've experienced the impact in how peaceful, how joyful, how pleasant, how fun life can be when internally I'm at peace.
For information about yoga or meditation classes, check out the Wellness Center website.
Namaste.
I'm actually taking Professor Tedesco's class, and I can certainly say that I feel the benefits of a quick yoga session in the morning. It's a great way to wake up and stretch out for the day ahead. For UMTV, I'm Portia Bowdish. Back to you guys at the desk.
Great story. Thank you, Portia. Now, to keep up with the demands for better mental health, the University of Miami Counseling Center has created an app that is putting mental health right in the palm of students' hands. UMTV's Francesca Ciuffo explores this new self-help therapy app.
Rise as you breathe in deeply, filling your lungs all the way down to your navel.
Marissa Miara does not let the stresses of college get to her. She uses the University of Miami's new interactive counseling center app that provides solutions to improve mental health.
My life has been extremely stressful with school and work recently. And they actually have something called the Zen Room on this app where you can go and listen to waves and have meditation in the background.
The WellTrack app was implemented by the Counseling Center at the University of Miami on October 26th and has already been downloaded by 295 students.
This was a student request to have an online or app-related service, and this was the one that we got the best reviews on.
I think the different features that the app has to offer, it can really help them, minimize their problems and minimize their stress by finding different outlets to handle it.
The app provides a mood daily tracker so that you can notice trends in your mood, videos and quizzes on stress, anxiety, and depression, and a Zen meditation room.
I really like the mood check feature because it sends you have you checked your mood today at random times throughout the day.
So the app is a great resource that the counseling center has because it's far-reaching across the entire university, and so we only see about 10% of the student population, and so I think we find it very helpful that we have a resource out there that every single student can actually use.
You can download the WellTrack app in the App Store and sign in with your University of Miami CaneLink account to enjoy all of its interactive therapy benefits and counseling tips. I'm Francesca Ciuffo, UMTV.
Now that is a great idea, especially for students around this time with all the stress and finals. It's awesome.
Yeah, have you checked your mood today?
I haven't, but I should right now. I'm feeling good, but maybe I'm a little stressed. Who knows?
We should check it out. And still ahead on our UMTV Special Focus, a look at your sports health headlines.
Plus, the mental health of athletes is becoming a priority for not just players, but their coaches as well. We'll tell you what one running back says about his mental health on the field. This story and more when UMTV Special Focus on Health returns. Thanks for staying with us.
We'll take a deeper look at health and sports in a moment, but first, here are your sports health headlines. A new study from the Radiological Society of North America reveals that young football players are at risk for disruption in brain development after playing for as little as 1 season. The study suggests implementing minor modifications to football to decrease full-speed contact and make the game safer for young players. One way to do that is to replace high-impact practice drills with low-impact drills.
And with pressure to perform in sports increasing at the youth and high school levels, a serious epidemic is on the rise. The use of performance-enhancing drugs or PEDs. The source of pressure varies from parents wanting their kids to succeed to kids themselves wanting to keep up with the competition. The results of using performance-enhancing drugs range from heart failure to depression, while the side effects can be unpredictable.
And back to the topic of mental health, now one player from the University of Miami's football team has decided to speak out against the stigma around mental health that happens inside of locker rooms. Sophomore running back DJ Dallas fumbled 3 times in 2 games against Duke and Georgia Tech. Dallas sought help off the field since he says this is the first time this had happened to him.
I sought help. Coach sent me to a doctor, and we just talked it out, and I got everything off my chest. So it was hard, but it was easy at the same time.
Dallas has not fumbled in the 2 games since, and says he challenges his teammates to put their pride aside and seek help with their mental health.
Researchers at the University of Miami's UHealth are working to develop technology to detect and treat concussions, which affects almost 4 million people each year in the United States, according to the Clinical Journal of Sports Medicine. Our reporter Madison Brown takes a look at the impact the technology could have on sports everywhere.
Test complete. Chris Harris is a lifelong athlete who played in the NFL briefly for the Baltimore Ravens. He came to UHealth to participate in a research study that identifies brain damage as a result of concussions by using eye tracking technology. The goal of the technology is to more accurately determine the extent of traumatic brain injury.
I don't think the coaches will like it, especially if it delays how fast you're back playing.
Chris has had about 6 concussions throughout his football career, but his most serious head injury happened during his junior football season at Elon University.
Went up for a ball, jumped for a ball, and got flipped upside down and landed on top of my head, and I got knocked out cold. All I remember is seeing the ball in the air, and I woke up in a golf cart driving off the field.
Chris only stayed off the field for about 3 to 4 weeks after that concussion. Chris is one of 29 participants so far in the study conducted by UHealth.
Technology over the past several years has allowed us to measure things that before we weren't actually able to measure.
The eye tracking goggles used in the study are unique because they measure brain damage based on eye movement. The patient puts the goggles on and does various tests, such as following a dot as it moves around the screen and focusing on crosshairs while the light changes.
This one, you get tired, and you can no longer accommodate as well.
Those tests that she's doing might be able to give us an indication that somebody is ready to go back.
The need for hard data like that is important because even NFL players have admitted to putting the game above their health. Former NFL quarterback and Super Bowl champion Peyton Manning told ESPN that he would taint preseason baseline tests to hide possible concussions. Quote, "After a concussion, you take the same test, and if you do worse than you did on the first test, you can't play. So I just try to do badly on the first test." End quote.
There's a lot of pressure to be back as fast as possible, but at the same time, as it's coming out more recently, the concussion protocol is delaying that.
However, UHealth Dr. Jim Buskirk says that the eye tracking technology will also be able to help with rehabilitation after concussions.
Our challenge will be to use that data to develop rehabilitative techniques and technologies.
The eye tracking technology is a big step forward from current concussion tests, but it still has a long way to go.
The technology that's been developed is a great step forward, but it's not the end-all of end-all yet.
Chris thinks that the new technology and research is a step in the right direction for sports.
It'll definitely make it safer, just finding something and doing the correct research to find something that will actually work.
Reporting for UMTV, I'm Madison Brown.
First of all, it's crazy how fast, just in one game, one play, something so detrimental can happen to your health.
It's huge. It's not just football, it's other sports. These head injuries are serious, and I'm glad with technology that we have that they're really focusing on it right now.
Definitely.
And still ahead on this UMTV special focus on health. It's the most wonderful time of the year, but the Christmas and Hanukkah season is not so wonderful for your waistline. We'll have some tips on staying healthy during the holidays when we come back.
As we near the end of the semester and the start of the holiday season, it can only mean one thing: a whole lot of food.
That's right. With parties to potlucks, we're going to be surrounded by piles and piles of unhealthy treats. Luckily, our own Justin Stevens has some advice so you don't end up with a stomach like Santa.
Don't you just love the holiday season? It's the most wonderful time of the year when you're surrounded by friends, family, and food. All the food. And while that may be your favorite part of the holidays, for others, it can be one test of willpower after another. If you're on a diet or have certain food allergies, this time of the year can feel like a minefield. But have no fear, with a little planning, you can sail right through. First, make sure you have a strategy. Maybe eating at home before going to the party is the best way for you to avoid temptation. And practice how you're going to graciously decline your aunt's special casserole no matter how thick she lays on the guilt. If you still want to partake, grab a plate and fill it up once. That's it. This can help avoid picking and snacking directly from serving dishes all night. Another great way to make sure you can eat at an event is to simply bring your own dish. Make something that falls in line with what you can have and share it with the crowd. If all else fails, move yourself over to the dance floor. After all, it's hard to eat and dance to Jingle Bell Rock at the same time.
Oh, all that food is making me hungry. I think it's going to be a little tough for me to stick to that plan.
I feel you. It'd definitely be difficult, but at least you have a little bit of a checklist, to-do list to follow. It's all about, I think it's all about finding that middle ground.
That balance.
You know? Yeah, you can't eat everything, but you got to enjoy
Just pick your favorites.
For me, it's eggnog. Like, I got to have that with a lot of the meals.
I don't know. I like the sweet potato.
That's a good choice, too. Well, that's all we have for this UMTV special focus on health. I'm Isaiah Q. Martinez.
And I'm Brandon Nussbaugh. Thank you so much for joining us.
And good luck on your finals. Don't fail. Make sure you pass your exams.
And we wish you a safe and healthy holiday break.
Take care.